Wir haben 521 Gold schon. Also ordentlich. Dafür, dass wir irgendwie mit 20 Gold angefangen haben. 500 Tacken gemacht. Hier können wir nicht durch, also darüber können wir nicht in das Gebiet. Wir haben jetzt wirklich alles entdeckt. Und er ist hier unsere letzte Möglichkeit hier, den Matrosen zu finden.
Is that right?
You talking about Jonas? You bet your stars I know him. But like I've been crying to the 9 death winds, he didn't go missing, he was taken.
Okay, entführt, also okay.
Were you a witness to the event?
Yes, I was. Even though I'd had a few tumblers in the belly, I hadn't yet lost my head. The other day, in the tavern, I saw him talking to a well-dressed man, surrounded by some other sly ruffians. And then when we left, him and I, Flavia left a little earlier, you understand? Well, those brutes were there, waiting for him. They just up and took him like that. Grabbed his arms and poof. Gone. Vanished.
Why didn't you intervene?
I tried to, believe me. But my legs betrayed me. Wavering they were. And I fell into the gutter.
Did you report this to the captain?
Unfortunately not. I know all too well what weight my words carry. Even Flavia treated me like a drunken fool. And the captain? No, not telling him that. I still have some pride left. You get me?
Immer dieser Stolz.
Did Jonas seem troubled to you the night he disappeared?
Maybe. For sure he wasn't his usual self.
Do you know what was on his mind?
No. No idea.
Okay.
Why would anyone want to snatch a mere cabin boy?
How would I know? Jonas is a gentle boy who keeps his head down. You think my story is nothing but mist too, don't you?
It's just that I can't imagine a gang of thugs hoping to get a ransom for a cabin boy. Did anyone else see the kidnapping?
There was still a small crowd in the tavern. But outside, I seem to recall that regular being there. We play cards with him from time to time. Kind of fellow who plays from morning to night time to be that skilled. But now and again he comes out. When nature calls, you know. I kind of remember his face being there.
What do you think about Captain Vasco?
He's a just man who knows his knots. He's well appreciated by the crew. It's a pity that he hasn't much heart for laughs now and again. Always seems unhappy, our captain.
Thank you, Laura. I need to be going.
Ja, er war ja schon drin. Okay, haben wir ihn übersehen? Wie voll bin ich denn? Fast schon wieder richtig voll.
Good day. Someone told me that you were a friend of Jonas, the young cabin boy who was gone missing.
That's right, yeah. Are you looking for him?
Yes. Your captain asked me to go and find him.
Happy to hear he's taken the disappearance seriously. What can I do for you?
Erstmal fragen, wann er
What do you think
fast
about Captain Vasco?
Oder
He's
Captain
a
Vasco.
damn good navigator and an excellent leader of men. He knows his craft well, in spite of being so young.
How old is he?
He's not seen his 25th year yet. If he keeps it up, he'll be an admiral one day.
When did you last see him?
2 days ago, in the evening. We went to have a drink in the tavern. Jonas, Lauro and myself.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary? Was he troubled?
Maybe a tad troubled. Like he was somewhere else.
Why would that be? Give me your best guess.
Boy, I haven't the faintest idea.
What does Jonas do in his free time, when you're on land?
He just hangs around here or there. You know the cabin boys don't have half a sailor's wages. And when evening comes, we usually go down the tavern with good old Lauro.
Did he ever have one too many?
Never. He sips his pint like it was bad medicine. One drink lasts him the whole night.
Okay, krass, also trinkt er nicht mehr.
What does Jonas do in his free time, when you're on land?
He just hangs around here or there. You know the cabin boys don't have half a sailor's wages. And when evening comes, we usually go down the tavern with good old Lauro.
Did he ever have one too many?
Never. He sips his pint like it was bad medicine.
Hast du das gerade gefragt hat? So.
Does he know anyone in Serene?
No one, far as I know.
Do you think he could have made himself any enemies?
I wouldn't think that for a moment. Jonas has a good heart and he steers clear of trouble and troublemakers.
I don't know where to start with this. Do you have any idea?
No. Lauro won't stop telling anyone who will lend him an ear that the boy was carried off by thugs.
And you don't believe him?
I like Lauro, don't get me wrong, he's like a brother. But to be honest, he drinks a little more than he should. The itch for a drink gets us all, but to him more than others, and when you drink too much, the imagination wanders. Here, yesterday, it was me who tied one over, and I thought I heard Jonas's voice by the canal. I called back to him, as you guessed, but then nothing. Drink. It blurs the senses.
I need to be going. Farewell.
Strange story this is.
Something isn't right here. I can feel it. We need to lift the veil on this.
Das machen wir auf jeden Fall noch, bevor wir abhauen. Safe, Alter. Okay, da sind wir wieder.
Tavern keeper.
I see you're back. Can I pour you something this time?
Ne, wir haben wieder irgendwelche Fragen zum Schiff hin.
I am looking for a Naut. A young cabin boy who has been missing roll call for 2 days now.
A Naut, you say? That's not a lot to go on. There are quite a few that come to my tavern.
According to one of his fellows, he would have been taken right here.
A kidnapping? In my establishment? You surely jest. Or at least I hope you do. I would have noticed. That doesn't hold water.
Someone told me about one of your faithful clients. A big gambler, it would seem.
I see. An able-bodied man. Passes his time lightening the pouches of sailors coming through.
Where might I find him at this time?
Here? He would never give away his chair at his table. Anything else?
Nein.
I need to be off. Farewell.
Goodbye.
Ach ja. Aber er sitzt doch gar nicht.
Who are you? I don't recognize you. Am I in your debt?
No, have no fear about that. It's for a different reason.
Er hat sich
I'm
einfach
looking
unserer
for a
Gruppe
Naut that
angeschlossen.
disappeared 2
Der Typ
days
da
ago,
hinten.
after visiting this establishment. A young cabin boy. 2 members of his crew accompanied him.
Yes, that does ring a bell. I've played with the 3 of them.
Okay.
Tell me what happened that evening.
A rich merchant came in with a band of strong arms. The kind of men you can round up for a few coins, if you catch my drift. They exchanged words with the cabin boy. The kid was defensive, not sitting pretty. And then they finally left.
And after that?
It just so happens that I did go out for a breather. I needed some fresh air. And I think I might well have seen those same men grab him. But that was none of my business. I wouldn't have thought that they were kidnapping him, if that's what it was. They weren't particularly rough with him.
What can you tell me about the boy? How was he that?
He seemed rather nervous, as if he was worried about something. Didn't feel like playing, that I remember. And he must have been right to be nervous, if he's disappeared.
Who was the rich merchant, do you think? A jilted lover? A moneylender?
No, my lady, you're in luck. It so happens that I know the man. It was Sir Fontaine, that merchant.
Where can I find him?
He has a house in the wealthy boroughs, just off the canal. A stone's throw from the Theleme embassy.
Thank you. You've been immensely helpful.
This man is completely owned by his love for the game.
What would he gain from lying?
What would any wealthy merchant gain from holding a penniless child?
Vielleicht hat er Informationen gehabt. Hier ist auf jeden Fall die letzte Mission hier. Und dann können wir schon eigentlich abreisen. Wir haben unseren Cousin gefunden. Wir sind jetzt zu dritt schon hier in der Party. Schon geil.
Might I help you, my lady?
I would like to have a word with Sir Fontaine.
He is absent, but the lady of the house could certainly receive you. Enter, please.
Die sind ja schon eingetreten. Du stehst ja in
Might
der
I
Ecke da,
help you,
oder
my
was?
lady?
Hast
I
du
need to be
überlassen.
going.
Okay.
Farewell.
Okay. Wir finden hier Informationen irgendwo, oder was? Achso, ja, und Fontaine hat ja mega viele Lagerhäuser hier in der Stadt. Das weiß ich
Oh,
noch.
I know you. I've seen you at court. You are Lady de Sade. And to what do I owe the honor of your visit, Excellency?
I would like to have a word with your husband.
He is not here, but perhaps I could be of help.
It concerns a delicate matter. We are looking for a missing cabin boy. According to witnesses, he had an argument with your husband before being taken.
I see. I am afraid that you have been misled. You seem to have come to the wrong conclusion. The cabin boy you speak of was not taken. He has simply returned home.
Excuse me, but I'm not sure I understand.
Don't you see, Your Excellency? We got our son back.
Ach. Das ist der Sohn gewesen von denen.
I am very surprised. Several witnesses confirmed that your son had a fight with your husband, and that his men escorted him from the tavern using force. If he had joined your husband willingly...
Witnesses? In a tavern? And you choose to believe these drunkards over a respectable family?
These witnesses are all in agreement, and it is their testimonies that have led me to your doorstep.
My son was probably shocked to have found us. My husband and the other men might have simply had to carry him. A gesture that your drunkards must have misunderstood.
What was your son doing on a Nort ship? Why would they have taken him?
It is what they do. Through pacts and contracts, they steal away young children from their mothers.
What are you talking about?
I would have thought that a legate would know these things. But it is true that you are young and inexperienced. It seems that you have been protected from the turpitudes of our own nation and their terrible allies. This horrible, constant ransoming that they put us through. But I will not say another word. You will have no trouble verifying the details now that you know what to look for.
Where might I find your son now?
I cannot say, Excellency. You must understand why. Until the Norts have set sail, we live in fear they will take him back from us.
This pact. It sounds like some fear-inducing story.
The Norts wouldn't be the first to recruit through dubious means.
Müssen wir uns wahrscheinlich entscheiden noch, was wir machen mit dem Jungen. Ob wir dem Jungen der Familie überlassen. Oder den Nauten zurückbringen. Aber ich bin mir unsicher. Ich bin mir noch ziemlich unsicher, was wir machen, weil... Wir müssen mit dem Jungen reden. Ich denke aber, dass der Junge in einer von diesen ganzen Lagerhäusern von Fontaine sein sollte. Oder müsste auf jeden Fall. Ich weiß noch nicht, ob er halt schon angezeigt wird, wenn wir jetzt einfach alle Lagerhäuser durchstöbern. Und wir reden mal hier mit dem Captain über die Verträge der Nauten.
Madam? Constantine d'Orsay, future governor of Tir Freddy. I'm enchanted, Captain. I am eager to board your ship.
Enchanted as well, Your Highness. I hope you enjoy your voyage.
Are you ready? Can we weigh anchor?
We should be able to set sail with the tide, as agreed upon. I'm still without news of my cabin boy, but we will have to do without.
I spoke with a woman who told me she was the mother of the cabin boy. She claims that her son was taken from her.
Taken? Her son is sea-gifted. His parents were required to give him up to honor the terms of a contract.
A contract? But what kind of contract are we speaking of?
A commercial contract. In exchange for services rendered by the Norts, some families cede more than gold. In some cases, nations even trade some of their subjects before they're born. I wouldn't be able to tell you the condition of Jonas's contract. I didn't even know he was originally from Serene. But what I can tell you is the young man hasn't seen his parents since he was a small child. And ever since, he's been a naught. Our ships are his home. And we are his only family.
Be back soon, Captain.
You see anyone else who might be able to help us? Anyone who's not a Nauts?
Your Highness, I'm happy to see you. Your absence this morning worried both your father and me.
Come now, Sir de Corsillon. My father may have been angry, outraged, or disappointed, but he's never worried about me. I am sad to have caused you any worry, though. Would you believe that I was rotting away in a sinister jail, guarded by thugs ready to kill me? Though still seeing double from last night's drink, I was preparing an ingenious escape plan when... ta-da! My fair cousin jumped up out of nowhere and saved me. I'm quite the fairy tale damsel in distress.
You might have refrained from the company of bandits the night before such an important departure.
Take away the risk and halve the pleasure, de Corsillon. It is the salt of life.
I fear that some of my teachings have been misunderstood. But you wanted to ask me something, de Sade?
I've had a word with Lady Fontaine. You must know her. That rich family that lives near the docks. She told me a strange story about her son who was a cabin boy on our ship. She said that he was taken when he was a child, due to some contract with the Nauts.
Who was a cabin boy? Do you mean he's no longer one?
They took him back to bring him home.
Well, that is very unpleasant news, de Sade. We need to do all we can to bring the boy back to his ship. Since time immemorial, there's always been a certain price to pay for the services of the Nauts. Children born on their ships belong to them. It's the rule of the sea. But certain contracts are so important that they also require children to be offered in exchange. From time to time, the congregation has passed such accord, and certain noble families had to give their children up.
Are you telling me that the Fontaines lost their son in an agreement signed between my uncle and the Nauts?
No. That pact ended a long time ago. This cabin boy couldn't have been a part of that contract. But Sir Fontaine has made a fortune trading with the Alliance, via ships.
Do you mean he would have offered up his own son in exchange for wealth?
Well, he probably did it before the birth of the child, and regretted it afterwards. But that is of little importance. What counts most is that you bring the boy back to the Nauts as quickly as possible. Breaking a contract with the seafarers has always cost us dearly. Our nation could feel it in its coffers.
I will do my best.
Okay.
A father selling his own son for a few boat rides.
Ja, ist schrecklich.
Lady Fontaine didn't seem to have any knowledge of that detail. That could be of use to us.
Das ist natürlich ärgerlich, aber ich denke, dass ich den Jungen zurückbringen werde, weil Vertrag ist Vertrag. Und wenn der Vater seinen Sohn geopfert hat, dann gibt's keinen Ausflucht mehr. Das ist schon schlimm genug, dass der Vater seinen Sohn geopfert hat, um an Reichtum zu kommen, aber dann werde ich ihm den Sohn auch wieder wegnehmen. Weil der gehört zu uns, beziehungsweise zu den Nauten. Und hier ist jetzt...
This document mentions another property. A warehouse.
That would be a great place to have.
Ja. Da gehen wir auch hin. War so klar, dass sie sich im Lagerhaus verstecken. Aber wir werden den Sohn wieder zurück zu den Nauten bringen. Außer der Sohn hat jetzt ein gutes Argument, dass er sagt, ey, ich will bei meiner Familie bleiben. Natürlich wäre es sinnvoller, bei der Familie zu bleiben, weil die sehr adelig ist und er hätte wahrscheinlich ein gutes Leben bei denen.
Careful. Fontaine won't be alone. He'll have his henchmen with him.
And handful of underlings don't scare us away. Right, cousin?
Let's just try to remain discreet.
Ah, hier konnten wir auch nicht rein.
What are you doing here?
I have come looking for your son. The Naughts are worried about his disappearance.
Those Naughts took him from us, but now we've got him back, and he'll be staying with us.
Would you be so kind as to hear what I have to say, Sir Fontaine? You've taken your son against his will and have locked him up like merchandise in a warehouse. Is that what you call being a good father?
As if you would know what it is like to be a parent. You are far too young to understand the way we feel.
I looked into the contract that binds you to the Naughts. It was indeed you who ceded your son to them in exchange for help with your business with the bridge.
It is so. But that sort of contract is ignoble. I never would have signed it if I had known.
You should have thought of that before. Breaking the contract could have regrettable consequences for the congregation.
The prince will know how to negotiate with the Naughts. If they take my son back, my wife will die of sadness.
Her sadness would be all the more terrible if she learned of your role in this story. Don't you think?
You wouldn't dare tell her. I beg you.
You were not leaving me with a choice.
Very well. Take the key and take him away. Cursed be the day I delivered my son unto the...
Digga, du hast deinen Sohn für Reichtum verkauft, Alter. Was ist los mit dir? Was ist los mit dir, Digga? Pech, Alter. Ich töte euch alle hier, wenn ihr mich nicht hier durchlasst. Nimm jetzt den Jungen mit, Alter. Der kommt zurück zu den Nauten, seine einzige fucking Familie, Mann. Und nicht ein Vater, der ihn verkauft hat, Alter. Er hat ihn hier eingesperrt. Willst du mich verarschen, Alter? Zum Glück habe ich Schlossknacken, Mann. Das ist so baba, dass ich mich Schlossknacken am Anfang geholt habe. Und ich mich erstmal alles looten. Der ist schon erwachsen, Alter. Dickerchen. Ja, ne, denn ist ja gar kein Kind mehr. Okay, gut. Ich dachte, er ist ein Kind, Alter. Dann hätte ich vielleicht noch überlegt, aber...
Your captain has sent me to find you.
And were you able to convince my father to allow me to go free?
Yes, even if I had to bend his arm a little.
That doesn't surprise me. He seemed to have no intention of changing his mind. I feel more sorry for my mother. She seems so sweet and happy to see me.
You don't seem to be all that close to your parents.
I hadn't seen them since I was 5 years old. I barely remember them. They find me, capture me, and lock me up in this warehouse. Hard to grow close after all that. My family is the Naughts. I am sorry for my parents, but that is the way of it now. Can I go home?
Yes. You should still go and say farewell to your mother. Then find your way to your ship. I will see you there.
Nice, vernünftig. Nice, liebe Leute, wir haben jede Mission jetzt. Was ist das? Was war das hier? Also ich hätte auch die Wand einschießen können. Können wir jetzt wieder abhauen hier? Oder ist hier noch irgendwas? Wir hauen jetzt ab hier. So. Was ist los? Das hätten wir uns auch reinschleichen können. Es gibt wirklich immer mehrere Wege. Das ist überkrass eigentlich. Wie groß das Spiel an sich ist. Schon geil gemacht. Gut, aber dann wird Zeit. Wir verkaufen noch mal schnell alles, was wir doppelt haben. Beziehungsweise wenn wir überhaupt irgendwas doppelt haben. Das würde ich noch verkaufen. Das braucht kein Mensch. Natürlich haben wir hier Gefährten, die könnten wir ausrüsten, aber ich brauche mehr Gold. Jetzt haben wir fast 600 Gold, das reicht auf jeden Fall. So.
Madam,
Are you ready? Can we weigh anchor?
we should be able to set sail with the tide, as agreed upon. My cabin boy, Jonas, is back on ship. I have you to thank, I imagine.
You do. It's a rather sad affair, and though solved, leaves a broken family
Ist ja
behind.
nicht unser
All
Schicksal.
we can do is plot a course. No one tells the wind what to do. I do thank you. I didn't think you'd go to so much trouble for a cabin boy. Your actions bring you honor.
Geil, der Ruf der Nauten ist gestiegen. Level 4. Shit. So, liebe Leute.
Be back soon, Captain.
Und wir haben jetzt hier 3 Punkte, die wir verteilen können. Wir haben hier noch ein Attribut, das wir verteilen können. Beweglichkeit haben wir schon genommen. Dann würde ich fast sagen, dass wir Genauigkeit nehmen. Das würde ich mir vielleicht aber noch aufheben. Hier brauchen wir auf jeden Fall einen Punkt, weil wir Wissenschaft auf jeden Fall skillen müssen. So, liebe Leute, das war's von den Gebrüder Games. Wir haben uns nämlich vorbereitet auf die Abreise von Seren. Wir haben jede einzelne Quest hier gelöst und sind jetzt eigentlich ready to take off hier mit dem wunderschönen Schiff. Und werden dann uns im nächsten Part auf jeden Fall auf die Reise machen zu der heiligen Insel, die alle so großartig loben. So, ich speichere nochmal, wenn das hier jetzt steht. Und ungefähr 1 Stunde 30 haben wir jetzt gestreamt. Also gestern haben wir glaube ich auch 1 Stunde 30 gestreamt. Also 3 Stunden braucht man, um Seren hier fertig zu spielen und alle Missionen zu machen. Und schade, dass hier nicht irgendwie eine Zeit steht, wie lange wir schon spielen. Aber es ist ein mega geiles Spiel. Wir sind Level 4 jetzt. Ich glaube, es gibt auch kein Level Cap, also man kann so lange spielen, wie man Bock hat. Natürlich wird das Spiel irgendwann ein Story-Ende haben. Ob man danach noch weiterspielen kann, weiß ich nicht genau. Aber ich habe echt Bock. Ich habe echt Bock, das Spiel durchzuspielen und ich danke euch natürlich, dass ihr da wart. Wir werden auf jeden Fall natürlich um 14 Uhr unser wunderschönes Turnier machen auf YouTube. Gebrüder Games, checkt auf jeden Fall aus, Royal Music Siege Turnier. Und ansonsten werden wir vielleicht sogar noch ein kleines Adventure bzw. Gibbes nachher durchspielen. Da sind wir ja auch kurz vorm Ende. Das war es auf jeden Fall von den Gebrüder Games. Peace out und reingehauen. Ciao.